All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike Toledo. I want to go ahead and redo the 5 essential PDR tools for beginners. Unfortunately, we had some connection issues, and I do apologize about that. However, we are going to still leave that original one up because you can actually still listen to it, much less I still get a lot of value out of that. Mario will be actually doing a redo as well, so there will be no distractions in the next coming ones, including this one. I'm going to go over an overview of what we talked about there, but obviously it's going to be more clear and you'll be able to see exactly in better definition of what we're talking about. And hopefully the audio will be even better as well. So again, my name is Mike Toledo. I am a veteran PDR technician. I've been doing PDR or perfecting PDR for 32 years since 1991. I've been training PDR technicians professionally since 2001. So if you're interested in paintless dent repair, please let me know. I will be more than happy to talk with you for about 15 minutes or more about your options to learn PDR personally with me. Meanwhile, what this is about is learning about five tools that definitely need to get as a beginner. So I'm not going to overwhelm you with a ton of tool packages. I think that's the wrong way to go. I would like to educate you more about how the tools work and why you want to buy them without breaking the bank. So we're going to get started on that, okay? Meanwhile, if you are not a Dent Trainer member, please check it out. It's worth the investment. Not only are you going to learn how to use the tools, but what panels they work best for, all the why factors, the small details that make the big difference. So check that out. And I'll be giving you a discount as well. So 20%. It's only good till the end of January. So this video will be up shortly, very, very short time. It is a code there, so use code beginners. And we do have tutorials in English and Spanish, so please check that out as well. I'll be mentioning that throughout this little recording. All right, so 5 essential PDR tools for beginners. So we're going to get started. I'm going to try to get this. I'm not going to waste the time. We're going to go right through this, and it's going to be, I would say, not boring. So hopefully it's not that boring, but it's very educational. So hang in there. So how to purchase tools the right way? What were we going to cover? All right, so we're going to cover why you should purchase tools the right way. All right, I didn't fix that, but handles, the reasoning between the handles. Types of handles that you're going to use with those tools. 3 to 5 tools you should purchase, right? That's what I was just mentioning. This whole thing is about that, so you stay focused. The must-have accessories that go along with it. So you won't be able to use those tools correctly without those accessories, including a light or reflection board. Practice tips on side panels and hoods. So I'll give you the difference between why you should practice on one panel more than the other, just to help you stay in good habit and make sure you're a balanced PDR technician. And then last but not least, well, we're not going to have any questions and answers. We did that on the last one. Hopefully we covered some of those questions for you, but you're more than welcome to ask questions regardless of where you're watching this. Please leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, and I will answer those questions. So meanwhile, we are going to get cracking. So purchasing PDR tools. So don't waste your money, invest your money instead. I can't tell you how many times people buy tools from eBay and Amazon. That is unfortunately not the way to go. Your tools, you'll find that the tools there are not very good. They will break, they will bend, they will flex. They will give you everything but a good PDR repair. So what happens when you are using the good tools and the bad tools? Well, I'll give you an example here. So you have, this is a good tool. This is a tool from shall I say, Dentcraft. Yeah, this is it. This is one of the tools we want to buy anyways. Anyways, when you are twisting the tool, right, the drive goes from the shaft right here. Doesn't go in the shaft and flex like a bridge. You know, you don't want that. You want all the drive to go right here. That's the difference between a good tool and a bad tool. A bad tool, well, it has the opposite, like I said. When you twist it, it's going to flex here. It's going to twist there too as well. You don't want that. You want, remember, all the energy of that twist to go right and drive to the tip. So that's the difference between cheap tools and good tools. All right. The other thing is when you buy these these wires that you see in here, this is a small wire. We're going to talk about this later, but it'll break. All right. It's going to twist. It's going to, matter of fact, it is going to just be crappy for you. I'm going to talk about this tool as well later on. So back to the, all right, be aware of large toolkits and packages. That's going to overwhelm you at first. When you're learning, you're going to get more confused. Do not buy, stay away from that. Keep it small, keep it simple, small steps. Just like learning, right? When you go slow, you learn more. When you buy these little tools, these smaller tools, small tool packages, you are going to learn a lot about those tools, and you become very, very efficient. So that's something you want to consider having. Buy cheap, buy twice. So if you're going to buy cheap tools, well, be prepared, especially if you want to get good. You're probably not going to use those cheap tools. You won't, very, very rarely, and you'll buy other tools in replacing of those tools. So buy once, cry once. That's what they say, right? So stay away from buying cheap to buy twice. And subscribe to online PDR courses. Listen, I'm going to be quite transparent. There are other courses out there now. So, if you are a well-rounded person and you think outside the box, you'll probably want to subscribe to multiple different ones, including Dent Trainer. So Dent Trainer, I'm going to tell you right now, has a ton of videos, over 500 videos, over 110 courses. So there's lots of videos inside of those courses. Not saying 110 videos, 110 courses. And my courses are anywhere between a half hour to an hour and a half long. So they are not quick wham bam, thank you ma'am, not non-detailed videos. So they're very in-depth. So please check those out, okay? Let's check this out. Let's go to the next one. Handles. Well, handle systems matter. Now I'm going to talk about different types of handles, and we're talking about generally the quick release handles, the ones that come off and on the handle systems that you will see me use. Now here's some of the benefits, and then I'll show you in person what they look like here. So they're detachable. It means obviously you can take them on and off, and you can put them in different positions, right? So they create more leverage. As you can see that they have different lengths that you can actually screw on or click together. So the Ultras has more of like a socket system, and the Gorilla Grip is the screw-on system. So still very effective, both of them. I'd recommend, if you can afford it and get both systems, it's just going to be better off, especially if you're serious about growing your arsenal of PDR tools. We'll talk about just a few minutes why you don't have to get these systems. You can get the ones that are already on the tools themselves, but you are going to be very limited. All right, so less weight of your tools, right? So overall, it's gonna keep the weight down of that. It's gonna keep the clutter to a minimum. Easy to organize, right? So you're not having all these bunches of different handles on these tools, meaning you're married, right? You cannot divorce any of them when they're on there. But once you cut it off, wham! You just opened up a whole new game. That tool turns into a whole different animal. More leverage, more positions. Heck. You can change it from a T handle to a one-sided handle tool. It's fantastic, right? So it's plain easy, right? So let me give you a quick overview of how this goes, right? So I'm going to grab this handle here, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Now here's some options. So if you end up going with a tool that has a handle system, right? A handle that something like this. Ultra has them, Anson, A1. Some of the A1s have a ratchet system already on their handles, so that's pretty good. But the handle itself isn't that comfortable. So, but the good thing about it, though, you can take it off and quickly put a hub system, handle system on there. But nonetheless, let's just say you purchased this. You wanted a double bend, long 30-inch soft tip. This looks like a little bit longer, and it's a thinner soft tip. You can buy an extension, right? I got this from Anson. They sell dent craft tools, and what happens is it creates instant leverage, right? So now I got a good, I can crank down on this sucker. I'm not just limited right here. You are going to get carpal tunnel with these type of handles, not because it's not comfortable. I'm talking the leverage. You're always fighting the leverage and your wrist is always in an awkward position. But when you have adjustable handles like you see here, right, that can go on these tools, bang, look at, I mean, man, we're talking easy peasy, right? Just like I said, you can adjust the length, right? You can make it stubby. I mean, here's something pretty cool I like too. I take this little piece right here, and maybe I'm just really need just a little bit of a, this helps prevent my hand getting, my palm getting whacked. But look how small that is. Maybe my handle's hitting something right there, but now I can make it super tiny, right? Take this off. Look at that, all right? The other system is ultras, right? And this is a Dent Reaper, by the way. I like Dent Reaper. I cut the handle off and made it an ultra handle. But so the difference between this handle, right, is this is a ratchet as well as a quick release. But I can change the handle, the position of it like this. I can also take this off, put this on side here. I nicknamed it Build a Bob, but really good friggin' quick adjustable handle. That's why it's so nice to have tools that don't have handles that are married to the tool. So that explains why you want different handle systems and detachable handles. Okay, so you have some options to think about. All right, so where we going here? Now we're talking about, I should have just went into a different thing. I don't know why it didn't pop up. Bare minimum pushing tools, right? So we're just going to talk about the 3 main tools, and we'll get into 2 bonus tools, okay? And this tool I'm talking about is a 24-inch screw-on tool, all right? This one that you see right there, okay? It doesn't show the whole length, but it's 24 inches long. I think that's a perfect length. However, if you feel like you're doing a lot of hoods and doors, well, you could go 30 inch, okay? So 24 to 30. The reason why I say 24 is because it's really good for the doors. It's even better for the fenders, and you can still get some good practice work on the hood, on the trunk, on the top panels, okay? Interchangeable tips. So as you can see in this picture, that there are some variety of tips you can put on there, and that's not just limited to those tips. You can see some extensions on here. It'll create the length of the tool even higher. We'll get into that later on as well, and it's very versatile. All right. Along with that, it's the Swiss Army knife. This is probably the number 1 tool that most PDR techs have. Actually, I'm going to say every PDR tech. I'm going to go out on a limb here and if the tech doesn't have it, well, I don't know where they've been. They're probably under a rock somewhere in the desert. So this is a tool. This is your first major tool you should buy right now. If you don't have it, well, you better get going and check that out. Okay. You can actually, by the way, and we're talking about Ultra Dent tools. This is an Ultra Dent tool 1. Anson has one. Dentcraft has one. You just saw Dentcraft right there. They make them in different diameters too. So I think the 3/8 is probably the way to go on that, because it's not too fat, not too thin. Go down the doors, so it'll get you started. It'll be the happy medium of the gauge of the diameters. Great for most panels that have open access. So like I mentioned, doors, hoods, trunks, roofs, pretty much every panel that you can use it for leverage and work it on an open panel, open area on the panel. 22-inch door tool. Well, the 22-inch door tool, you can get that one generally at Anson. I call it the Door Lord. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, that has got a 5-inch kick, meaning let me talk about that. Okay, so we're talking a 5-inch kick here, right there. All right. Actually, I should just switch that. Let me change that to white so it looks better. 5-inch kick right there. Okay, that's going to give you the main leverage. Where you're pushing at, okay, you're pushing right there, right? You're pushing off of that side load right there, the paddle tip. It's got a shaved bit right here, shaved tool from right here to here. It's shaved, right? That's going to give you really good access between the door, right? Between that skin and the window. Right here in this section, right? It's normal. It's not shaved. That's where it gives its strength. This tool is badass, right? So like I said, it's 5 inches, 5-inch kick. All right, from right there. That's what you want. You don't want that tool to really be twisting and twisting around that door. The more open it is, the more kick you're going to need. So that is perfect, okay? 22-inch door, not too long. A 22-inch door lord tool is not too long, all right? And that's the door lord. I rarely recommend that, okay? Oh, I'm going to go down here, all right? And now we're talking about this. It slides between the window and the skin, as I mentioned here. This might be some of the stuff I'm just getting, saying again. Tip is great for all types of dents, right? So you can start it with a normal tool, normal paddle like that, dent, and then finish it with a sharp. Like basically what I'm trying to say. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. And it's late. Actually, this is my 5th take doing this because I've been having some really bad issues even recording. Usually I'm very upbeat, right? I really want you to see this content here, and I owe it to you to have it done really well, okay? So, but anyways, what it's designed for, let's just say this is the 22-inch, right? What I like to do is put some tape on there at first when I'm first starting the dent. This will soften up the contact point when you're making it against the dent. If you don't have it and you're a rookie and you're very new, your probably chances are, and you don't have that board reflection positioned in the right way, well, the bare tip of this metal tip against the metal panel is going to probably make some high spots. Matter of fact, we call them chewies, right? You don't ever want to invite chewy to the party, all right? You're pushing a dent, you're happy about pushing a dent, you're getting some practice time. Basically, you're at a party, right? You're having a good time, and all of a sudden, chewy shows up. Don't let chewy crash your party, okay? Put some tape on here. This is your bulldog. This is your bouncer right here. He's going to prevent chewy from getting into your party, all right? Don't let it crash. As the dent gets smaller, meaning as the people leave the party, right? Now you can start cleaning up, right? Cleaning up without the tape, fantastic. It's a little bit advanced technique I'm just telling you right there, but it's going to make more sense as you get into this. Shaved shaft, less flex. You can tell I'm just a little bit tired because I am not even talking right. Shaved shaft, less flex. So again, these tools are very super strong, okay? Super strong. Door lord has 5-inch kick, as I mentioned. Gaffer's tape, as I mentioned, helps reduce push marks. So I'm just kind of just overlapping what I just said, all right? So we're going to get into how to use as well later. 24-inch whale tail. So this is remember, this is the top 3 tools. So you got your 24-inch double bend. You got your 22-inch door lord tool or ultra tool or any PDR finesse. I'm not trying to say. There are all these tools I'm telling you about. Pretty much all the tool manufacturers carry them. Just make sure you get the name brand. But the advantage with the door lord is they got 1 inch longer kick than most general tools out there. Okay, so I highly recommend that, and along with the handle systems. Okay, the whale tail, right? Most useful between bracing and tight access areas. So let's just quickly just go over this area. So we're talking a whale tail is generally really good right here in the middle of the door, right? It's really good in this section here towards the edge, towards the front. That's a pinched area, really tight to get to. You're not going to fit every whale tail in that same spot. That's why they have different, thinner whale tails. And different thicknesses and things like that. So it's, you know, one whale tail isn't going to be the answer for everything, but it's going to be great for you to practice. So remember, this whole point is start off practicing first with the few tools you have, the good tools that you have, and then start adding to it, because it's not like you're never going to use these tools again. You're going to keep using them and keep using them, and they're going to make you a lot of money over your career. And I mean a lot. And they pay for themselves generally after the first job to 5 jobs. If you're charging the right price, it pays for itself. Okay, so back to that, right? In a picture right there. So as you were probably noticing that this whale tail is bent, right? Now I can bend it. That's what they're made for. Good whale tails are going to just keep their bend, right? Don't ever do this. Don't ever be bending it this way. Okay, that's dangerous, right? I mean, even the best tools will break in a very rare while, but don't take the chance of bending like this. Always bend away from yourself, away from the car. Do not be going like this and towards the car, because it's going to snap and whack the car. Okay, stay away from everybody. Do not be bending it near things that are going to get damaged or hurt. Okay, but anyways, very good. It'll stay its shape. Blam has some great tools. Everybody makes pretty decent whale tails, but in my opinion, who makes just the best whale tails in the house is Dentcraft. So check those out, okay? Actually, I'll put that up there right there. So that's their URL right there, dentcrafttools.com, or you can go to Anson, where I got it from, and it's all in one roof, right? You can buy a lot of those tools in one shop right there. Okay. So let's go. Strong shaft, less flex, right? As I said, different sizes available, as I mentioned, right? You are going to have some different variations of whale tails, okay? The bonus tools, right? The bonus tools is, we're talking about the double bend blade tip tools, right? So these are some of the tools that I'm going to mention, all right? We'll talk about these tools. These tools are really good. And they're probably saying, well, how come I don't just get a long double bend soft tip and do that? Well, if you notice, look at the shaft of these things, right? Look at the end of the tools. They're shaved, right? That's going to allow you to get in these braced areas up here, right? So if you're coming through here, maybe you made an access point, right? And you're trying to come up like that, right? Better yet, when you open up this door right here, there's a wire harness inside there. So picture that, you pull the wire harness back, you can slip it up high to that dent. Or if it's so open, and that's why you'll have a double bend, is that you can push directly against this panel in the open spots of that. So the more open the panel, right, the more bend you're going to need on your tools. And that's why different tools have different bends, right, or less bends. So the tighter, the more narrow the panel is, the less bend you'll need in your tools. So that makes sense. But this is a highly recommended 4th tool to purchase. Okay, double bend. Now, Ultra's double bend blade, and then you've got a double shot blade tip tool from Anson. Again, you can probably get a lot of these tools from variations of the different tool companies. So, so there you go. All right, very good tool, and I do go over it more thoroughly as well on Dent Trainer, showing the different positions and where you can put that. Okay. So the other one is your wire tool, right? The wire tool is what I just showed you. Game changer for me. I use this, I don't know, maybe 2-3 times a week, right? Depends on the dents, but love this tool, all right? I'm going to show this tool to you right now too. So look at this tool. Super fantastic. Really good. I can use the tip. I can use the heel. It's freaking whamma jamma. The reason why I use the heel is because when I have a deeper dent, right, I'm close to the edge of the door, right? I use this a lot for this sort. And the opening, usually there's an opening here or here because of the plug for the door handle. So I pull that out because there's a bolt there, but there's a big opening too. But if I have a deep, sharp dent here, I'm pushing with this, and I'm actually using the heel. When I use the heel, it's like a soft tip for that dent. I'm able to push a lot of metal along with heat. So I use heat a lot to help keep the paint and the metal more pliable, right? So I use that heel to push. Once I get the dent to the last 5%, then I switch and I use the tip. Now, if you notice, this tip has some resin on it. Well, it's Glexo. I'm getting into a little bit deeper stuff, but Glexo Magic, it's called. I dip it in there and then I heat it with some UV ray right there, and it cures it. After about 5-10 minutes, after I let it sit, it's ready to go. So it's very forgiving, makes the tip of the tool less damaging to the paint or making high spots. So that's just another little tech tip as well. The cool thing about this is the WT9, I think, from Dentcraft right here. It is strong, super strong. I trust this with any kind of metal that I'm working with. So highly recommend it. Super strong, and it's just very reliable. Okay, next one we're talking is, where are we going here? Accessories. Now we're getting accessories, right? It's one of the biggest things that make the biggest difference. One of the small things that make the big difference here. Window guard, right? So we're going to talk about the window guard, how that works, right? Super easy, but hey, when you get your window guard, you're going to need to bend it. And when you bend it, look at that. It's going to slip in there much easier because what happens, it likes to catch in the brace, right? So hit the brace and you're like, man, I can't get it in there. Bend it and then it'll slide down, okay? You need a wedge. Well, that wedge is this wedge right here. I highly like it. You're going to like it. It works fantastic. The cool thing about this wedge is, if you notice, it's got some ridges right there. This is from Anson. Check this out. This top right here has another purpose. So when you're in the fender liner, you pull the fender liner and you push that back, and now you got an opening for the fender liner. A little bit more involving than that, but because they're not always felt, but man, better than using your fingernail. Okay, so this works fantastic. Also, the ribs help when you slide it in against the window guard, which we'll show later on too, is that you are actually facing it towards the seat. Okay, do not face it against the belt lining because you're gonna this will chew up the belt molding, and then you're buying a new belt molding. So be careful of how you use this. This is great also, ladies and gentlemen. So if this fender was kicked in, right, and when you open this door, it goes click, click, click. Well, name of the game of this, man, you can just go right here and pull this fender back out so it doesn't hit this door. And it works great. This thing is strong. I haven't broken one of these. I've been using this for about 2 years now. Freaking great. Okay. You have a reflection board. They do have fog ones and shadow boards, whatever you want to call it, and then lines. So that's something that's the most affordable way you want to go. If you don't want to if you can't afford the money for a light, you're on a super tight budget, well, that'll probably work. As long as you have good lighting behind you that's reflecting on the board. Keep in mind, these boards are like, shall I say, let me see, these things are like solar panels, right? So picture every time you work on a dent, my light's behind me, that board should be facing this way against the panel, right? Not you facing the light and the panel and it's like this, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to see much detail. So as you can see here, I use thin lines. The more thinner the lines, the more detail it's going to give me. I'm about to sneeze here. Excuse me. I recommend a light because it's like a personal trainer. You know, learning with a reflection board is like learning online. Okay, you're kind of fighting and training, kind of guessing. Is that really high? Is that really low? And it's just not. It's kind of half training you, half giving you information. But when you have a light, it's like, woof. It's really, really nice. Let me show you. Let me give you an example. All right, here's a light. You see that? So that light's showing, this is a fog and lines, right? So the fog shows, it gives you contrast. Lines give you curvature. Now, one thing I talk about, learning is, listen, get good at one reflection so you can teach yourself the other reflection. Don't try, and I know you might, don't try to learn both at once, because what happens is you get frustrated at once. You know what I mean? You don't become good at either one. Pick one that you like, stick with it, master it, and then learn to master the other one. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to look at your reflection that you understand, and when you want to learn a different one, at least you completely know what a high and a low looks like in that other reflection. You might not be able to tell what it actually right away what it looks like in lines, right? Let's say you're trying to learn lines, but the fog goes, that's a high. And you're like, oh, so that's what a high looks like in the lines. And vice versa. So if you're a line guy and want to learn fog, you know what a high looks like or a low looks like in a line. And you're going, okay, so that's what it looks like in fog. That's how you teach yourself. But master one or the other first, and then go to the next one. Stay open-minded, because it is a big benefit if you can understand both. Tap downs and tips, right? We're talking tap downs mainly right here. I'm not going to get really, really crazy on let me pull one out for you. This is a peak tap down. It's going to work great. Fantastic. All right. It's all around. It's going to last you. You might want to get two of them just in case. It's going to last you till well enough. You're like, okay, I need different tap downs, because now I'm pretty good at tapping down. I understand the mechanics of tapping down. And now you're ready to buy some other tap downs. Tech advice for you new techs, right? For when you're tapping down, right? The tap down's got to be level, right? So if your panel's like this, your tap down's got to be like that, okay? Panels like this, your tap down's going to be like this, all right? If your tap down's like this, you're going to slip. What's that doing? It's telling you not level. So stay level. Also, when you go to tap down, make sure your fingers are out of the freaking way. All right. Do not have any shadow in front of your reflection. Right. If you can't see your reflection and your tip, you're doing it wrong. Okay. When you go to tap down, the base of your hand should be here. All right. So I'm not going to get super crazy. I'm just kind of giving you some word of advice. And once you get on Dent Trainer, you'll see exactly what I mean visually, because I am really good at showing you the detail. I get you right there. Okay. Kind of keep it simple for you guys. You don't need a ton of tools to get good. Right. I think the least amount of tools you have, the more you're able to concentrate. The more tools you have, the more you're not able to concentrate, and it makes you guess and think that you're not learning enough, and you don't think you have the right tools, and it just makes you your head scatterbrain. Okay. All right, so next we're going to talk about some hammers, some paddles. All right, so what I like to use is generally those three. Now, this is very subjective. I think it really doesn't entirely matter that much what you strike your tap down with. I've seen some people use some generic, really non-high-end hammers, you know, and they don't have to be. But these are some suggestions right here. You can go to Sears, get some Craftsman, or you know, anything. You go to your grandpa's drawer, you can probably get a hammer there. Depends on how you like to strike it. I don't like a lot of noise when I'm striking a tap down, so I try to keep it quiet. I like leather on mine, so you can see something like this one. This one's some leather. Let me get a little closer here. All right, so this is one. This is actually from Anson. Pretty cool design. I think it's going to run you about 70 bucks, right? And then you've got this one right here, right? This is basically a body hammer, right? Some of you body guys might be familiar with this hammer, obviously. But I dipped it. So you see that? This is industrial plasti dip, right? Not the kind you get from Home Depot. The one that you really super high heat and you dip it. And I had Ultra Dent tools do this about maybe almost 10 years ago, and it has lasted as long as you're not hitting nails or something with it. But if you're just using a tap down, it is fantastic. Plus you can hit the edge of stuff. So I have variations of paddles and hammers. This is a 10-ounce hammer. This is very common in the PDR industry because it's not too heavy, not too light, really good for striking. And here's another thing too. A lot of guys don't actually use this part. They use this, right? And they tap like this, right? This is a kind of a two-way thing. It's kind of like a paddle, right? But more of a skinny version of a paddle. So they all work similar. It just depends on what you're drawn to. I kind of tell people like blending hammers. It's like a Harry Potter wand, right? So whatever gravitates to you, generally whatever you choose in the beginning is probably what you're going to like for most of your career because you're so used to how it strikes the tap down. So that's that. Let me just switch back over here. Now we're talking about the chain. We're gonna show some more video of this. This is gonna create your leverage for your chain. It's really cool. I like this chain because it's so freaking simple and it's not gonna break the bank. Now, can you make this yourself? Absolutely, you could do that yourself. Let me give you a little example of what I mean by having a chain. So when you have a chain and you're hooking it to the hood, which we're going to do, or the trunk or somewhere, you're going to hook it to one of the holes and you're going to slip your tool between one of these links. And that's going to create your leverage. And now the closer you are up to that link, right, the more leverage you are going to have, right? So that's really nice. If by chance you don't get that leverage, then you want to add some leverage, those extensions that can make your tool higher, right? Because you don't want to be doing this, sticking it through the middle of the chain, right? And then your leverage point is down like this, right? You're way down, right? Because you're going to make that contact with that like this, and when you go to push, you're going to slide. You don't want to slide. You definitely don't want to be sliding, okay? You want to be level and push directly like that. So that is the reason why you want a chain or something similar. There's other options. We're not going to get into that because like I said, I want to keep it super simple, right? If I give you so many options, you're like, well, which one should I buy? Just buy the cheapest right now, but it's high quality, okay? It's very good. Now, you can get this at Home Depot if you want to try to make it and waste your time trying to do that. But because you will have to bend these little hooks onto a normal chain. But I'm sure some of you guys rather do that, okay? I personally don't like to waste any time. If I see it on there, I'm just gonna do it. I don't need to go, waste, 2 hours trying to make something so small. That's just a subjective though, okay? I'm not saying you guys, I'm not as handy as a normal dent guy, okay? Yeah, let's not get into that either. My wife makes fun of me all the time about that. Okay, next, let's go into the next thing here. We're gonna keep it as good as we can, or going as fast as we can. Tool usage, right? So the tool usage, proper PDR techniques getting better results. So we're gonna show some things about door versus hood. Okay, so you have your door, you have your hood. Those are the two panels I would practice on. The first panel I'd probably practice on, and let's just say you're my student. Well, the first panel you are going to practice on is that door. Now I'm going to ask you, are you left-handed or right-handed? And most of them say, well, I'm right-handed. And I say every time, okay, great, you're going to go on your left hand. And their face gets a little like confused. They're like, oh, but I'm right-handed. I know that, but I want you to be as dominant on your left hand as you are your right. I don't want you to think about it anymore, because if I let you practice on your right your first time, you're never going to want to get as good with your left as you are with your right, because you started that way. Start with your left because it's brand new, super new. And besides, if you go work on that left recorder panel and you're on this side, or you're on that door, rear door, and you're close to that side, and you need to get low and push, what are you going to do? You're going to do this? You can't do that. That's not the way you want it to work, okay? So left hand if you can, door. And why? So I'm going to give you the why factor, because when you're looking through the side, when you're looking down, your peripheral is confused, right? Your brain is going, what the heck, man? You know, the equilibrium is off. And it's hard. It's hard for your brain to register what you're looking at. And so that takes time. So why not do the hard stuff first? Get over it quicker, because the quicker you tackle the more challenging parts of learning PDR, the faster you're going to learn. When you go for the easy stuff, or like when you go for the soft tip all the time, and you're not learning how to use the rest of the tools to its fullest potential, you're not going to get to see your full potential. So use the doors, because 70% or higher, that's where your dents are going to be going. That's where they're going to be coming from. Dents on the side, unless you're doing hail, right? Doing hail, yeah. Well, you want to balance it, because hail comes from the side as well. And that hits the side of the vehicle. And so you're going to have to, no matter what, learn side panels. So take my advice, learn on the door. Do not gut it out. Don't take the window out. Don't take all that stuff out. That's not real world. You need stuff that is against there, that gives you tight access, and so you know how to work it, okay? All right, so let's go common ways to set up, right? So common ways to set up is I take that wedge, right, and I slide it between the window guard, right? And as I slide it between the window guard, I go right towards the edge, not on the edge, because you don't want to put that all the way on the edge, because you can break that window too. The edge of the window guard will break the edge of the window. Now I don't want you to feel all scared and stuff. Something to tell you too, you will break windows, unfortunately, in your career. Not like, you're more likely now because of the dual pane windows, because they're so, I'd say they're very fragile, and you just got to watch out, okay? Again, I don't want to get stuck on one subject, but just be careful how you place the wedge in there. Don't jam it. You'll see me once in a while in some of my videos. I do that because I know the car really well, but that's not something you really want to follow, okay? Put in, slide it in just like I just showed, okay? All right, so door tools, soft tip, all right? So here's a door tool. This is something like I was mentioning earlier. So I like to set up the handle nice, right? Place it at an angle, right? Kind of get that positioning of that handle. Now you can do this as an ultra tool as well. So I slide it in, and what I want to do is I'm going to show you how I actually like to place my hand, right? A little bit further back, right? And I'm going to twist and push. Push and twist. Push and twist. I'm letting the tool do that. The handle is helping me do that too by pulling my hand back further. You see the leverage? I'm leaning into that. Get into that habit, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest thing that people do is that they actually take a tool, right, and they try to twist. Let me show you. So picture my hands as skin, right? So they twist, right? And they go like this. What happens? They slip. They slip. They get on the dent. They slip. Well, when you push, right? Now you're digging that tip right into the dent, right? You push and twist. It keeps the tool from sliding. Pushing, pushing, right? My skin, right? And then I'm getting that leverage. I'm getting that dig. I call it a dig, right? You push, get in there. Push, okay? Remember that. You have to have that balance. If you are twisting, and this tool is really good for helping you twist easier, okay? It's got that nice kick on there, but don't forget that habit of pushing, okay? You always see it's very easy to over and look at observation. You think I'm just twisting. I'm not. I'm pushing and twisting at the same time. Let's go next one. Heat shield, right? So, maybe not the hood you practice on has a heat shield, but let's just talk about the basics. I use a STEC tool. What it does is it grabs the clips by the neck and pulls it down. I take the heat shield and I leave it down on the engine, all right? So the STEC tool is this right here. I take this. Always police coming by here, right? So I take this right here and I'm able to grab that, right? And pull. And pull, right? Grab it and pull. These are ones that are going to kick butt and help you not lose clips and reduce the chance of breaking the clips. Now, they can still break because it depends on how brittle they are. But these will be fantastic for what you need to use them for. They're called STEC, I think, plug pullers, or well, you just look them up. A lot of the tool companies have these. I just wouldn't pay more than $40 for them if you can. You go look them on Amazon too. Okay. Propping the hood, right? Super common. You can get these at all the tool companies as well, including Anson, Ultra, A1. I mean, all of them. This is a little bit of a fancier one. It's carbon fiber, and then I use a rope ratchet to secure the hood down. And you do want to try to do real world repairs, like setups and practicing. Don't try not to make it too easy for yourself, because you need to once in a while challenge yourself. And when you challenge yourself, and you do it more often, it's unlikely for you to give up in the real world when you actually hit that dent that's giving you a hard time and you're like, wow, I didn't practice any of this. So make sure, personally, I like to keep the hood on the car. If you want to, it's no big deal taking it off the car or getting a hood from a junkyard. That's not a problem. Just make sure you have all the real things that's still attached into it. Okay. Setting leverage, right? So I think we talked a little bit about this too already, right? So we're using the chain hook, and this is what I'm talking about. It goes through one of the holes, right? And then here's what I was saying before, right? This is going to give me, going through one of the links, is going to give me more leverage or less leverage. That's all it is. If you need more leverage for some reason beyond that, then add an extension. Your main thing is you want to stay level, right, to the panel. You don't want to be that handle to drop really far down, because then you're gonna be unbalanced and you're not going to be able to stay flat on pushing on that dent. Okay, this is a direct push right there that you see. Whale tail overview. Okay, so here's how the whale tails work in a hood, trunk, roof. The doors the same way. Just picture it's between the brace and goes in there. Now you can kick off one side or the other. It's fantastic as well for going between the glue, right? Cutting some glue. Every once in a while you'll have a very flat dent, and it's because of the glue. The glue is holding the dent against the brace. So in order to release that tension and make that dent pop, is that you got to release the glue. And the whale tail is great, and I showed you a little bit about that, why you need that. So that is a very good practice tool to learn how to push a dent in between a brace, in between glue, things like that. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned, check out denttrainer.com. I mean, this is, if you really want to get more, you find some value out of this, man, you're going to find a ton of more value out of denttrainer.com. I'm going to go over some of the benefits of why you want to go through denttrainer.com and learn. Obviously, you're going to learn at your own pace and convenience. English and Spanish options available. Organized and structured curriculum covering beginner to advanced topics. Gain practical understanding of the tool usage, what you're doing right now. You're getting a little bit more insight about tool usage and the basic fundamental tools that you should get right now as a brand new newbie. Access to exclusive tool discounts, right? So on Dent Trainer, that you will have access to Kiko, Cam Auto, Ultra Dent tools, Unlimited Dent, Stucky tools, Get a Grip, umbrellas. There's a bunch of different tool companies on there. That VIP PDR tool, tap downs. So a lot of the tools that you saw me show you are on there. So you can get anywhere between 5 to 20% discounts. Connect with a community of like-minded individuals. So we have a very good community on Dent Trainer. People ask questions often on there in different ways, and meaning like there's not a dumb question, that will be, said that you didn't ask the question right or make fun of this. Unlike I see on Facebook, a lot of people kind of put down other people. So that's kind of sad. But on the other note, that's not going to happen here at Dent Trainer. You are more than welcome, and you don't have to be a member to join the community. You can actually go on there and just ask questions if you like. Okay. Enhance your professional development and skills. Obviously, you're going to be a well-rounded person at learning paintless dent repair, not just about the techniques, but the business aspect of that. And we have a lot more cool things coming out for the individual parts of growing your business. So what's next, right? So what are we going to be doing now? Now, if you watched this earlier, and I mentioned that I did this with Mario, we did like an English-Spanish together version. Unfortunately, the feed wasn't very good, and so I had to do it over, and he wasn't around to do it for the Spanish. So we will be doing another Spanish, all in Spanish. I will be there to assist him, but I won't probably be talking as much. So stay patient on that. But meanwhile, you can actually just listen to the other one as a podcast if you're interested in learning in Spanish as well. So the next ones we're going to be going through, we're going to take you step by step, is light setup and pushing and tapping down. So we don't say the tapping down right there, but technically you need to learn how to tap down as well as you're pushing, because if you make a mistake, you got to know how to fix the mistake, and that's usually tapping down. And that leads into glue pulling, all these other different things. So stay tuned for that, okay? I think, if I was live right now, I'd be doing questions and answers, Q&A, but I can help you out if you want to ask some questions, in the discussions on Dent Trainer, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or whatnot. Don't forget, please go check out denttrainer.com, right? And then check out this. If you're watching this anytime soon, use the code. You can save 20% off the membership. So if you're not a member, you want to sign up, join one of the subscriptions, or if you want to join one of the Spanish bundles that Mario has, use code beginners. You're going to save 20%. The only time I give a discount is during Black Friday, and now this is a surprise. So it's very time limited. I said I was going to end it to the end of the month, but I've had a little bit of a hard time with that. First one wasn't that good of a feed, so I'll extend it to probably sometime in the middle of February. So if you want to go ahead and do that, please. And I don't give these discounts very often. So I really appreciate you guys' time. And let me know if you have any questions. Again, my name is Mike Toledo, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Take care, everybody.